put a reminder that this is when you have to eat lunch. Block it off because I'm going to forget to eat lunch otherwise.
We would always look for houses that had square or rectangle tables because we hated circular tables.
When you leave a place and you have that I'm forgetting something feeling, it is the most true gut feeling and it rings true every time.
Use the Shoelace Express.
Hold your phone with your right and use your left finger. You're so slow. It's crazy.
I know I'm at the point where I feel like it's important to also protect my own personal time. Welcome to Where She Builds,
the podcast where two globetrotting solopreneurs share the real journey of building a life and business on the move.
I'm Shandy, an online personal trainer helping people feel strong anywhere in the world.
And I'm Anna, creator of Your Travel Friend Anna, a global community and go-to resource for those wanting to live a fulfilling and culturally curious life.
Thanks for being here.
Let's dive into this week's episode. Welcome back, everyone, to the Where She Builds podcast. I am your travel friend, Anna, joined always by Coach Shandy. Good morning from Canada for one of the last times, Shandy.
I'm so excited. Good morning from the Netherlands, and you're going to be here on Sunday. I can't wait.
That's so crazy. By the time this episode goes out, we will be together.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait. I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
We're just going to blast it in the house or the neighborhood, even though that's not their vibe, but make everyone listen.
That's fine.
Hand out posters.
Yeah, exactly.
How's
Marketing
your week
here.
been going? Yeah, we're going to market it. We need the Dutch fellowship to stay up. But how is your week? How has it been?
Good.
Your last weekend?
Busy, but good. Yeah, busy with work. We're into our last week of training for our run that we're going to do. So the 16-kilometer run next Sunday. So we're going well. Shin splints are actually doing okay too, so I'm very happy about that.
Okay.
So
has that training, a couple of episodes ago, we talked about how you got a running analysis. Has that helped a lot with the shin splints?
1,000%. Yeah. I would totally recommend doing some sort of running analysis if somebody is struggling with shin splints, because that is like my whole gait was wrong. And so now I've been changing things, and I kind of went through a dip where I was slower than what I was going before. And now I feel like I'm starting to pick up and I'm getting quicker and things are starting to feel better. Like we went for an interval run yesterday of 6 kilometers and like I was bagged. I was tired, but my shins didn't hurt. And I've never had that in my life.
Yes.
Never. Like after every single run, it's always so painful to touch. Like I'm almost borderline crying. And now it's,
oh my gosh,
it's fine. It's good. So
you said the way your gait changed, did you say? What does that mean?
So like the way that you step essentially,
your
because
stride?
your strike. Yeah, your stride.
Strike.
So I was hitting more with my heel. I was doing a heel strike instead of midfoot, which of course creates a lot of tension or a lot of compact on your, I'm making sounds into my microphone, but a lot of compact with your shin bone. And then of course, just like I had a couple of tips of leaning more forward and then driving my heels up. And then just those little changes, each kilometer, I try to think about the tips that he gave me. And I just kind of change little things like swinging my arms a little bit more. And each kilometer I change different things that he gave me tips of. And 6 kilometers goes by super quick when you're thinking of different things. So I'm really enjoying it. I'm actually liking running now, which I shouldn't put this on a recording, but that can be used against me. But
it's on the recording now. And it is that weird. Like people are like, how do you like running? And I think you have to get to a certain point where you see success and like you see this fruitfulness where the 5K isn't so intense, but once you can get to a 5K that's a fun 5K that's comfortable, that doesn't cause you pain, whether that be in breathing, in your case shin splints, I think then running becomes fun. And myself too, I ran last night and I live near a river and the bugs were like insane. And also just a lot going on right now. So I think I didn't really follow a plan. I just went out and I did about just over 4. And I was like, you know what? That's enough. Like, I'm really happy I got out for 4. It was more just for a mental break, a little bit of movement, definitely sweat because I always do. And we're finished. We didn't need to push it that day to 7 or anything. So that's an enjoyment too.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what you said. Like when you're, I don't know, when I was running and you're constantly in pain or you're just not enjoying anything, of course, you're not going to be liking running. Like it's not something that you're going to enjoy. But then, yeah, now things aren't hurting and it's actually like, oh, I'm outside. And for the very first time I was on a run and I looked around and I was like, oh, it's actually quite beautiful here. And I think maybe even a couple of episodes ago, I said that Pat told me that. He was looking around. He's like, look how beautiful it is. I'm like, I'm not looking how beautiful it is. I'm struggling. Like, I'm trying to survive here. But now I actually looked around and I was like, oh, yeah, it is quite nice.
Beyond your run, I hope I'm curious what your training will be after your run, and maybe tell me after the run. But
Yeah.
if you continue to go on your small trips or any kind of adventures, using running as a way to explore a city, and it's one of my
Ooh.
favorite things. And when you're not going out for a certain paced run, and you're like, this is just my way to explore, exercise, run. You can run past the Parliament building. Like 2 years ago, I
Yeah.
posted an Instagram reel of how I saw I believe it was 5 major sites in Rome in an hour and a half.
Ooh.
So the Trevi
Whoa.
Fountain, the Spanish Steps, the Pantheon, the Colosseum, and I'm missing one, I think. Anyway.
Did you say the Spanish Steps?
Yes, there's the one I can picture in my head as horses on the front. It's a white, anyway, that big building too. You could see all of them in an hour and a half if you run them, just so you know.
I love that. What a great way, because that's also, it's free. You can
Yes.
run for free. You don't have
Yes.
to buy those hop on, hop off bus tickets or Ubers or tram tickets or whatever, however
Yep.
your choice of transportation. So nice.
You cannot pace it. I'll warn you now, because you're dodging people. Sidewalks too, being cobblestones. Like also this. So it's a very casual run, but I think both you and Pat would really enjoy this concept of sightseeing running or something like this. Yeah,
I love it. Yeah, you got to have some strong ankles for these European sidewalks, though.
Well, you have to look up, but then look down.
You gotta be like flop flop with your ankles.
Yeah, and I like to run on gravel quite a lot, or just a little bit in grass. I feel like it is really good ankle strength training versus just always on cement. So I try and incorporate a little bit of that when I can, and it's around me. Yeah,
definitely.
Okay.
But let's get into you, because you are coming here on Sunday. So are you ready? Is this a bad question to ask? How are you feeling?
So we record on Thursdays. It is Thursday. I leave in 2 days. I did a fake pack last night. My mom listens to our podcast, and thank you, Mama, for helping me last night. I'm such a verbal processor. I've really come to terms, and solo traveling, you don't have anyone to verbal process with. So we did the, okay, hypothetical scenario. I'm going for a run. What clothes do I have? Okay, we met new friends. We're going for a cute dinner. What options do I have? Okay, I'm just sitting at home all day, my new home or the place I'm staying, and I'm just working all day, running out to grab dinner, working all day. Okay, we're going for this day of activities. What am I wearing? I think the biggest thing I'm struggling with is I'm doing 2 climates. So I'm trying to find that, what are layering pieces, but then eventually I could get rid of. And so how many pants do I bring? Because I have a feeling I want pants in the Netherlands right now. Am I correct?
Yeah. Yes. Definitely. I mean, you can always wear some of my pants if you want.
I know, but the places I'm going afterwards are like still a little bit warm, but I know the evenings are going to really drop. So I don't know. And I'm bringing a rain jacket.
Yeah, nice. Absolutely. That is a necessity here. Actually, when my parents came to visit, my dad bought a jacket that would be like rainproof. It was not a rain jacket, but a rainproof one. And it was a necessity. It's cold and rainy here sometimes, and you gotta dress for it. They have a saying in Dutch that it just means like, I'm not made of sugar. So it's just like, I can get wet and it doesn't matter.
I kind of believe it, because in Vancouver, in British Columbia, where it rains a lot too, I never wore a rain jacket. Like it never downpoured there. It just sprinkled a lot of the time. But in this situation, I was debating between, I don't know how to describe it. Like it's not a parka, it's not a full, just a classic puffer jacket, Arc'teryx, Patagonia. Mine's a Montaigne, I think brand it is. I normally travel with that, but I am doing the rain jacket instead, which can be layered. So it's like a wind rain jacket, and I'm going to layer instead. So these little nuances.
You're thinking a lot about this. I love it.
I am. I keep thinking of how I can make content around it, but my brain goes so fast I can't slow down to make content about it. I don't know.
Here's your content.
I don't know. Like the smallest things, like people don't think about when you're buying toiletries of any sort or girlies with your skincare. Try and get squeezable things. So the skincare that comes in the tube, that the toothpaste in the tube, the anything, because then you can squeeze the air out and it's just a little bit of space instead of
But it
a
counts, yeah.
tub. You know, like a little circle tub of face lotion. Get a squeezy tube. Yeah.
That's a great tip though too, because then all that space, it counts. You need it at some point.
Yeah. And also I love shampoo bars. I do a body just a bar of soap, body wash bar of soap. And just these little things of like less for the liquids. I have to make room this time though for your mini eggs, as you requested in the last Chitty Chat.
I'm so excited for those.
Can I just share a little bit of what happened after we recorded last week though?
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember. So Shandy's partner, Pat, came on just to say hi to me, which was so lovely. And Shandy's like, Anna's going to bring me mini eggs. And Pat's like, we still have some. And she's like, no, we don't. And he's like,
I ate
what?
them all. Okay, so full transparency. We have in our kitchen like a little IKEA, I don't know, drawers and everything. And on the bottom drawer, we have like miscellaneous stuff. And we had this kilo pack of mini eggs. And I brought it home, like I brought it here from Canada because I love mini eggs. And so just every day, you know, there's some days where you have a bad day and you're just like, oh, you know what would make me feel better? Chocolate. So I go into our little drawer and I pick out like just a handful of mini eggs and I'm like, oh, this makes me so happy. And it turns out that all those like little tiny trips to the mini egg means that it goes away, which is so annoying.
Nah, I believe it. We got some backup. I have some other treats for you, but they are to be surprised. So people should follow us on Instagram because we'll post a story or a post about it.
I can't wait. You're so sweet.
Got some surprises. So yeah, and little things like last week I said I needed new socks. Well, I got out and I went out and bought new socks. Now I have too many new socks, so I have to decide which new socks because I was going to return some. I thought you could return socks if they were perfectly packaged still. Apparently not.
Yeah. Which is weird. Why can't you?
I know.
It's just like any other article of clothing, right?
But I went to Uniqlo, which I try my best to. I have a lot of hand-me-down clothes that I travel. I'm not a great thrifter, so I'm a hand-me-down girl or like second wear from friends and family. But I went to Uniqlo, which is my favorite travel capsule wardrobe. Oh, I'm obsessed with that store. Half my wardrobe is now Uniqlo. Found some really cool pants that I really liked. I actually bought 2 pairs, brought them home thinking, okay, let's see what fits, what matches, what do I like, and I can return a pair. On our way out, I said, my mom came with me, and I said, can we just stop into Lululemon? And for anyone who doesn't know, Lululemon is like, everyone in Canada knows it. Shandy's wearing a shirt. I'm pretty sure.
A Lulu shirt. Yeah. I am. I love Lululemon.
And there's been a pair of, I'd say, trousers more that I've been eyeballing since I think March. They have a belt loop. They are a wider pant with some kind of pleat on them. I don't know if I talked about them with you. Maybe
I don't know, but now you're making me feel like I need to go and buy those.
Maybe it was you the first time I looked for them in the store. Did I not say there's like a pair of pants I really want and they never have them in my size?
Yes. Yeah, because then that's when I bought the scuba pants there.
Yes.
Remember? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I went in with you. That was March. They didn't have them. And then I went in, I don't know, let's say May, I think with my sister-in-law, didn't have them. So I said, Mom, can we pop in? They'll probably won't have them. They had them. In my size.
Did you buy them?
Well,
it's a sign. You have to.
And then I tried them on. And then even also my mom was like, I kind of like them better than the Uniqlo. And I was like, dang it. Because we know the price tag on them.
Yeah. But okay, but I say this to everybody, especially in Europe, because they are expensive and they're also more expensive in Europe than in Canada.
Yeah.
But they have, from what I remember and from what my experience is, they have lifetime warranties. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that they do. And like I've had the instance where I've had pants that are like, I don't know, 5+ years old, and they were just like the logo, the Lulu logo just like disintegrated. Like it just kind of, it just was not nice anymore. So I just had to send them a picture, send them my size. And then they sent me a gift card, like an online gift card for 100% of what I paid for it. And then I just was able to send it back. And then I bought a brand new pair.
Wow.
Super
wow.
easy. Yeah.
I would check on that warranty. They're changing some policies lately
Yeah.
but they do have, I know their bags, they used to like, you could return really easily. If things pill, yeah they're pretty good. So I did buy the pants.
Yay!
So.
I can't wait to see them.
And they are meant to replace this black pair of pants that I had from Everlane, which is another store I love. And I wore them all the time. And they were like the black pants I kind of got talking about on my social media.
Are they the ones that you wore when you spoke in Montenegro?
Yes.
Okay.
So
I remember
needed
those ones because you looked.
Well, thank you. Those pants somehow just got short over my 2024 travel. So when I was in Slovakia, I found an alterations place. Woman spoke no English, no cash register, all handwritten, all cash. Really established, cute little dry cleaning spot. She chopped them into shorts for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because they still fit on the waist and the bum, but they just were like somehow an awkward length now. I don't know if they just kept shrinking or
did you get taller?
No, I don't think so. I think they just shrunk. I don't know. So anyway, they're shorts now, and I'm going to take them with me still.
Okay, great. I love that. That's such a great way to repurpose things, though, instead of just throwing them out. Because if they're your favorite pair of pants, they're going to fit nice still.
Yes.
What a great idea. I love that.
I think it was 15 or 20 euros, which maybe it could have been less, but the pants, I remember actually, I think were about 200 Canadian. So what's that in euros? Like 120 euros. But I got my wear out of them. So I'm not, they were worth investment. And I think that too is, someone once said $1. No, for every time you wear it, it's $1. So can you get 200 wears out of the pants for $200?
I like that too. Yeah. I mean, that's the same with Lulu, right? Like you spend a pretty penny on them, but you get it. Like they last a long time, especially with sport clothes. Because if you go into the gym and if you're doing deadlifts, you want to make sure that those pants are not see-through, if you know what I'm saying. They're okay. They're deadlift and squat proof.
I just like don't know what other athletic clothes to buy. I think because Lululemon was started by a Canadian that we all just default to it, even if it is expensive. But there's a lot of secondhand now. I've luckily had a lot of friends who worked for Lulu over the years and gotten their hand-me-downs, and the older stuff is always the better stuff. So saying,
well,
friends.
To be honest, also like if you're an athletic leader of some sort, like so I'm a personal trainer, of course, so you get like a pretty good discount. I think it's like could even be 20%.
It's 25.
25,
but they changed it recently that some certain industries are no longer part of the Sweat Collective, including dancers, which I have a bone to pick with them.
How? I feel like dancers are the ones that wear that the most and that should wear that the most. Like it's what? That's weird.
Je ne sais pas. I don't know.
So I don't like that.
It does still exist, the Sweat Collective, and you have to prove that you're a trainer, and they ask for your ID and everything. But anyway, that's my bone to pick with them in another day, another episode.
Yeah.
But I will see you on Sunday, Shandy.
Yeah,
and next week we will be recording our Chitty Chat in person. But today we are settling into an episode that is talking literally about that, settling into a new place as both travelers and remote workers. We're covering some tips and tricks about how to find structure and routine and ease when you are visiting a new destination. So I hope you like the episode.
Can't wait. Let's get into it.
Ciao, ciao. In today's episode, we're breaking down how to settle in a new destination. As travelers who have been to over 30 countries, in my case, and over 40 from Shandy, many of which we've worked remotely from, we've had to adapt to new surroundings frequently. So we're going to break down some common misconceptions, quirky tips of how you can find structure amidst change and how to actually get your work done. So to start us off, Shandy, would you describe yourself as someone who's a bit more pre-planned, full-day schedules, or you're more easygoing and open to variation when you're planning travel?
I think I'm very easy. Like, I'm very open to whatever's going to happen. And like, I don't, of course, you have your meetings planned that you have to attend, but otherwise I'm just like, okay, let's see what happens, see when we can get with some work done. But then of course also with sightseeing, try to see what we can do there. But what do you think? What are you?
I'm similar. I think work is the structure that I work around in terms of activities. It's a lot of energy based. So, not planning too much, knowing I need energy for work days in the weekdays, and then just seeing the atmosphere of an environment too. And just letting kind of time do its thing, and who I meet and how I interact is dictating my activities and adventures, and not to get too planned into things, which easily can happen for me. So I like some spontaneity.
I love that. Nice.
Yeah, and I think a big part of it too is deciding about where you're staying. So when we think about settling into a destination, a lot of that is environment based. We've definitely talked about this on previous episodes about how what you surround yourself with can be a motivating factor or a factor that's distracting. So when you're thinking of travel, what are you thinking about? Are you thinking of private accommodations like Airbnbs, or you're doing something that's more shared like couch surfing, hostels, a room within an Airbnb versus the whole workspace? What works for you better?
Yeah. I mean, of course, in my working life, since I've gotten out of university, I've been in a relationship. So it's just always been Airbnbs or just sharing a room with my partner. But that's, I think, quite an easy decision for me because then we just share the price of everything in half. And then that's what it is. But yeah, I think the question I would like to reverse to you because it's more interesting, your answer. I'm like, of course, I'm going to do Airbnbs and everything, but what do you usually do? Like, have you tried couch surfing? What do you prefer? Have you done Airbnbs? What do you
No,
think?
as talked about, I know I've never done couch surfing. I'm a bit hesitant. And I think as I've aged gracefully, I am looking more for a private room. I don't mind a room within an Airbnb or a hostel for the socializing and kind of that passive person around me. I do find apartments sometimes can be very lonely and difficult to just be self-disciplined in like all the activities. But I know, I mean, as we've started this podcast too, I've had to prioritize making sure I'm going to have a space where I can close a door. Even if it's
Yeah.
a tiny room, it's just a bed in a room. I think, yeah, I'm really simple. And I look at luxurious travelers too, and I always wonder, even if I had the funds to do so, would I? I don't know. There's something
Well,
nice about a
yeah.
simple room.
Yeah. Well, and that's just it. Like, if you're traveling, in my mind, the place that you're staying at, of course, it's a little bit different. If you're a nomad, you're traveling around, you also have to work in that space a little bit too. But in my mind, if you're traveling, you're just there to sleep. And then you can go and, you can also go to co-working spaces, which we'll talk about later in this episode too. But it's just, I mean, there's so many other options. So why would you spend so much money on a place where you're just sleeping?
Yeah. Do you find when you are looking for, as you said, you and your partner are finding private accommodations, does size of the space, having a kitchen, not having a kitchen, desks, does that matter for you? Or you seek workspaces outside of where you're staying?
The biggest, I guess, reference that I have is when we were van lifing. So when we were living in the van, and then we had first initially started working from the van, but then it was too small. And we just, if we had calls, we couldn't take them both at the same time. So then when we felt like the van was getting a bit too small, too congested, then we would sometimes go to Airbnbs just to have a little bit more space. But honestly, anything is more space than a tiny van. So we didn't really really care about the size of the Airbnbs. But we do have this little, not a pet peeve, but like a preference of we
Okay.
would always look for houses that had square or rectangle tables because we hated
Instead of
circular
circle.
tables. Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Because if you're
that's a
working from
great
there,
tip. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, because if you're working from there and your arms just they don't fall nicely on a circular table. So if you're working there for hours and hours and hours, ergonomically speaking, it's just you're gonna feel so much pain later on. So it was just nice, like we'd always look for rectangle or square tables.
It seems really like a weird preference, but
Yeah.
also with two of you and potentially laptops facing one another, a
Hmm.
rectangle table or square is going to allow you to kind of shift, whereas a circle, it's very weird. I
Yeah.
didn't think about
Yeah.
that. I like it. I like it. It's like for me in hostel rooms, I basically won't stay in a hostel anymore that doesn't have a curtain on the bed or has a way that I can
Oh,
tuck my towel to create a curtain. because it just is that little bit of privacy that at times in a dorm room, whether you're working, just want to watch a TV show, it just kind of lets you,
Yeah.
have your own
Yeah.
personal space.
Well, and it's weird if you're sleeping and then you wake up and somebody's staring at you. Like, I've had that happen before, and I'm just like, when I
It's
was in
weird.
university, yeah, and you're just like, ooh, I don't like that. You're in the middle of the night and somebody's just like,
Who's there?
wide
And
eyes. Yeah.
or they come in late into the dorm room and you don't,
Yeah.
it's just, come on,
Yeah.
build curtains on hostels. Please, if any hostel owners are listening, it's
Yeah.
worth the investment, I think, for sure. So when
Absolutely.
you first enter this Airbnb, let's use this context as we both said that we like a private space. What's one of the first things you do when you enter this space to just make you feel comfortable?
I mean, again, from a van life speaking, we just always brought all of our kitchen stuff in from the van into the Airbnb, because then we were cooking with our own pots and pans and
Nice.
spatulas, and we had all of our spices and everything. So that just felt homey. And then we would go for walks around the neighborhood just to get acquainted with where we were in the surroundings, kind of thing. So where the nearest grocery store was, if there was a gym nearby, things like that. But
Wonderful.
what would you do? How do you make it feel like home?
If I'm staying more than 3 days, I'm unpacking
Okay.
most of my belongings. No, maybe 5 days. Like 3 to 5 days, I'm usually unpacking everything. And I think just like setting up a little nightstand situation too, like getting your pajamas out. That's my biggest hostel tip, actually, is get your sleep routine/outfit out before the room gets dark and everyone goes to bed. You will praise yourself when you come
Yeah.
back to the room later. Yeah, and
And the
just
people around you will also.
yes, you'll make friends better this
Yeah,
way.
exactly.
I don't own a lot of kitchen stuff when I'm traveling, but I might have my coffee or some snacks. So also just bring that out and like
Yeah.
finding new short-term homes for everything. So any snacks can go into the kitchen area. Where am I going to work? Pulling out what I need for that. Making sure I get my mouse out for my computer so my hand doesn't hurt as much. Like all these little things that just make you feel like, okay, it's my space. I'm customizing it for whatever period of time I'm there.
Do you ever get nervous then with, like, if you're spreading out all of your stuff, if you're going to forget something when you leave? Because I have that anxiety. If we go somewhere, I'm like, I will not put my clothes in any drawers. I'm going to keep them in my luggage with it open so then I can kind of see what I've got. But I don't know. I will not put my stuff away because I'm so scared that I'm going to forget something in there, and then I don't know.
Yes and no. Knock on wood, nothing will happen to me soon. But I think just keep it in a section. So if you're gonna hang up, I don't know what that accent was. If you're going to hang up clothes, put clothes in a drawer, only do one drawer. So shove it full. Only hang
Okay.
up in one section. Put all your snacks in one corner and always put all your supplies in one corner. So I think that's, yes. And when you're working, stay to one side of the table and just keep those things in kind of a pile. But yeah, for sure, I've thought, oh my gosh. But when you leave a place and you have that I'm forgetting something feeling, I think it is the most true gut feeling. And it rings true every time. So if I leave and I'm like, no, I don't have that feeling, I really just go, I don't have that feeling. I have everything. Also, passport, credit card, phone, everything else is,
Yeah, everything else
need.
you can buy, right? Yeah.
And
That's
maybe
true.
laptop now. That's my child. So do I have my child with me?
Yes. But I feel like that's something that's kind of hard to forget because you're probably looking for your laptop every day, right?
Yeah, but you could be like, oh, I'll put that in later after I put in these shirts. You just never know, right? So
that's true.
It's a good point. Just think in general, just stay organized. I don't know, the people who like kind of barf up their bag, like just try and keep it in one corner. So
keep
it tidy.
Yeah, exactly.
So when we think of reaching a new destination, it's good to remember that for yourself, you did van life for a long time. You can share that story a bit if you'd like, but maybe in your experience, van life / staying in some Airbnbs is how we'll kind of preface this with. But what's one thing that helps you get right into routine or might shape your schedule depending where you are?
This is a hard question. I feel like because in the van, it was just you're in the van, so that's kind of part of your routine, regardless of where we were. It was just that was our environment. So we were just taking our environment with us wherever we went. So it wasn't like changed that much. The routine stayed the same. Like you'd wake up and then you have to like quickly make the bed because then that becomes like your loading dock for everything else that was on the table before. And then you go and have breakfast, and like our environment was there. So it wasn't like we were changing Airbnbs all the time. It was just when we were getting tired of the small space. And so it was really like having a small apartment wherever we went. So I feel
Okay,
like,
I have some examples.
yeah,
You go to Canada
yes,
twice a year. You change that
yes,
environment. When we
yeah,
met in Montenegro, you didn't have the van with you. So
true.
these situations, although Canada is a familiar environment to you, what are things that you really stick to before, like when you arrive, you're like, I'm going to do this because I know it's going to help me be prepared.
Yeah. I mean, I think first of all, getting used to the time zones. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Because 8 hours time difference really kicks you in the butt. But it's really like, yeah, so not napping right away when you get there. You just try to stay awake, and then you get into a good sleep routine. And then just sticking with your working times as much as possible. Of course, it's going to shift, and we'll speak about that later too. But yeah, I don't know, sticking with the work routines, just trying to stick with your day-to-day, like eating breakfast, then doing work, and then eating lunch, and then just sticking with that instead of being all willy-nilly going to different places and not, doing different things, and you just can't keep up with yourself. So that's, I don't know, that's something where I think routine is really important regardless of where you are, just to try to keep it. But what do you think?
Yeah, a lot of it rang true. I think meal times is really important. We'll dive into food more, but meal times, whatever that means for you. If you like to eat breakfast, eat breakfast. If you're a lunch and dinner, if you're 3 meals, 2 meals, you're a snacker. Don't change those little things that make you happy. And when this podcast episode comes out, I will be experiencing 8-hour jet lag. But I
Yes.
forgot to mention in our pre-chitty chat of this episode that I have girl mathed some jet lag help. Let me know if you think this is going to help me or not. Little side
Okay.
tangent.
Tell me.
So in my head, I usually like to wake up around 8 where I am right now. And in my head, I've been trying to go to bed earlier and wake up around 6. So
Okay.
if I still wake up at 8 when I'm overseas, which is about an
Mhm.
8-hour time difference, I believe, then it's really
Yeah.
only a 6-hour time difference. Right?
I think so.
I hope
think
so, because I've been waking up so early, and so I'm just trying to get closer to the
Yeah.
time. Anyway, that's my
Yeah.
thing.
I mean, I love that you're trying it. I'm curious if
you
it's gonna
know.
work.
I'll let you know. Well, you're gonna
Actually,
see it.
I heard,
so.
yeah, I heard that every hour of time difference, it takes
Yes.
a day to get used to.
Yeah.
So if it only takes you 6 days, then you know that you've nailed it.
I'm hoping it's gonna be about 4. So I agree with when
go.
you change your team, it's just adjust as quick as possible.
Mhm.
But also be kind to yourself. Maybe don't book the 4
Yes.
tours the first day and a full work day. Like, I'm going to try and take 2. I probably will take a small nap, but not a big one. I sometimes take naps anyway. So not a nap that is different than what
Yeah.
you're doing. And for me, yes, I think as a digital nomad, we have the privilege of sticking to some kind of working time zone. So I know some folks really are in their set 9 to 5 of their work remote works time zone. I have the privilege of, yes, working in my evenings when I'm in Europe, kind of working a 9 to 5 mountain standard time, but I may adjust that. But I think just finding structure, finding like maybe I work a
Yeah.
few hours in the evening, I clearly set free time in the afternoon, and then I clearly set working hours in the evening, and adapting as I wish. Yeah.
Okay, I love that because I feel like I'm the opposite with those things regardless. I mean, with my clients, I have majority of my clients are North American based, but then I also have some in Europe. So then regardless of where I am, I'm kind of playing the time zone game a little bit there.
Yeah.
But I try to stick with the longest days like 8 a.m. to 7 or 8 p.m. Like I don't like to have any, but then of course I have breaks in between and I'm like playing
it's a
around
long
with different
day.
things, but I don't like to work late evenings. I had that one time when we were in Thailand, I had a meeting at 11 p.m. and I was like, I will never do this again. Because I think it's also important to really, protect your outside time, non-work time. Because then you have the luxury of going to different places and traveling around Europe if you're working Canadian time, but then I don't know, there's something icky to me about working in the evenings that I'm just like, ugh, I hate it.
Yeah, I think it's true that if you have the flexibility to not work in evenings because you know you don't like it. One of my friends, he would start work at like 5 p.m. till 4 a.m. because
Oh,
he had to work his
oh,
9 to 5. But in that
oh,
case, don't be waking up at 8 a.m. to do the activities. Really protect your body and just shift everything. So yes, if you have to take an 11 p.m. call, it's not ideal, but don't force yourself to get up with the people who are working European time zone. Like,
yeah,
shift yourself to wake up a couple hours early and don't feel guilt about it. Just remember that you're adjusting to what works best for you and making sure that you still have those time zones, or not time, but time chunks off, as if you came
yeah,
home at 5 p.m. and you had time before your evening routine.
yeah, yeah. And I like how you mentioned guilt because I want to ask you about that. Like, do you ever have guilt, or how do you deal with it if you feel like you're working too much or if you're exploring too much, traveling around too much? How do you deal with that?
I don't know if there's a right answer for this. I suppose for myself, I know on travel days, I book the day off. So I don't feel guilt that I'm not working or
Oh, I like
that
that.
I'm not working when I say I should be. It's like I shouldn't be today because I'm traveling today. I think also planning ahead. For me, traveling on a Monday or Friday is a luxury because I can travel on weekdays, but it's a better than traveling Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday because that really just messes
Yeah,
up my workflow for the week. If you can only travel on weekends and it's a little bit more expensive, okay, that sucks. But just remember your Monday to Friday is going to be better. And maybe you're going to be a better
yeah,
worker, better income generator if you're traveling on the weekends. And just find that balance. Don't get
hmm
stressed into the FOMO. You won't be able to do everything. You won't be able to go to every party. But remember, this
hmm
lifestyle isn't about maximizing vacation and travel days. It is a different lifestyle because you are expected to work and to
yeah,
be online on your computer and find that balance of taking true vacation days. Like maybe you take a
yeah,
Friday off and you treat it as a vacation in the destination you're in and then your Monday to Thursday. I think that's the biggest misconception about digital nomad life is yes, there are some days where we stay in our accommodations, we go out, we get food, we come home, and we watch TV at night. Even if we're in Thailand,
yeah.
Macedonia, Paris, like that's just what we have to do.
Well, and it's a necessity too, right? You can't be traveling full time and go, 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 go. Your body also needs some rest and some routine. So if your routine does consist of working your 9 to 5, but in a different location, and then eating when you normally eat, and then watching some TV shows to decompress a little bit, like that's your routine. And then you can do your if you're doing a walking tour in the evening or something, you have the benefit because you're in that environment to go and do some sightseeing, but you still need that routine of what you had regardless of where you are in the world. You can't just go all willy-nilly to different places. I think that's my favorite word right now, willy-nilly.
It's definitely Canadian slang
I
too.
don't know.
Willy-nilly just means like unplanned chaos, like
Yeah.
you're just
Yeah.
you're like just running up and down the street, don't know where you're going.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I like that. Yeah. But yeah, it's a necessity to have a routine regardless of where you are, and it's as we spoke about, it's important to set it up from my perspective anyways as quickly as possible because then you can get into that feeling of I'm where I need to be, this is feeling good. Then you're more productive then as well.
Yeah, I usually plan about 1 week in advance. So I have a Sunday task reminder. I love the reminders on the Apple products. And so on Sundays, it reminds me to plan my next 2 weeks ahead. Now, going back to the beginning of this episode, it's not type A planned, but it's little things when I look, oh my gosh, this day I have 3 meetings. So I am going to put a reminder that this is when you have to eat lunch. Block it off because I'm going to forget to eat lunch otherwise. Or, hey, it really works well if I think about exercise around this
Yeah.
time, or I think about an activity around this time. It doesn't have to be starting right at the hour, but
hmm
sometimes it helps. Or, oh my gosh, that friend said that they were visiting in town too, like coming up for this trip, being in the Netherlands. There's a friend who's also in the Netherlands, and I want to make sure I make time for us to have dinner together. Sometimes I have meetings in the evening. So, what day is that going to work? So, that's helpful for me just to plan a little bit ahead, see what's on the upcoming. For our podcast, it often is when I'm messaging you, Shandy, like, what time did we say next week? Do we have a full episode to record, just a chitty chat, or do we need to do some admin talking? So that's usually when I'm messaging you about it. And you are so good that you don't reply on a Sunday, you reply on a Monday
No.
when it's back to business days, which
Yes.
I admire greatly.
No, I don't know. That's something that I've learned through owning my own business for a couple of years and like going through all the things where I used to work on the weekends a lot of the times and working like crazy stupid hours. And now I'm at the point where I feel like it's important to also protect my own personal time and to enjoy my time when I'm with other people, and to not like, there's lots of times where I don't look at my phone for probably 8 hours at a time. And that's probably why I'm so bad at replying, because then I have a lot of messages afterwards. But I also really appreciate the time that I spend with people physically. So I don't want to be locked in my phone looking at some Instagram messages or something. Not saying that those people aren't important messaging me, but the physical time I find is a lot more important and a lot more fulfilling for me.
I do think that too. And as someone who creates content, why often I don't have any content of friends or the people I've met is because I forgot my phone. I didn't forget it, but like my phone stays in my purse, because exactly this time in the presence, like between you and I, Shandy, we have to get one picture together, because I'm worried both of us will just have our phone in our bags the whole time. Just being present with one another, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I have to bring this up because I was eating breakfast with the B character this morning with Pat. And he actually brought up, he's like, I have to take some pictures of you and Anna together. And I was like, oh, okay. He's like, yeah,
B
for
character,
social media. That's really sweet that he thought about that. So
he's 100% right. Like there's so moments, and then you look back and you want to capture the moment in your brain. I think that's so important. I also, sometimes I like to just like take content right away and then enjoy my dinner with people, you know, like capture where we are, what we're eating. And then it's like, okay, we'll put it away. And this fine balance of capturing the moment. Okay, you talked about ergonomics with your table. I am totally stealing that tip. I've never thought about it. Now I've booked one Airbnb for future travel. I'm going to go look what kind of table is there.
Yeah. Because it makes such a difference. It makes a difference between a good day and a bad day, what kind of table you're working from.
The fingers were out and pointing at everybody. Yes. Be character, no circle tables. What kind of table do you have at your house? Imagine you have a circle table. I show up and I go, I can't work from here. False. You said on the podcast you didn't like circle tables.
You show up here like, oh, sorry, I can't stay here. There's a circle table.
Oh my God, that's such a funny, and I agree with it though. What are some other ergonomics, especially you understand the body a lot and the maximizing the best ways to move our body. So what are some other worth packing items or like workstation situations that we should be thinking about?
Yeah, non-negotiable for me is my laptop stand. So being able to put it up a little bit higher, because then otherwise you're hunched over and have what they call the Nomad shoulders, hunched over. And but it's because you're in that position for 8 hours plus a day, right? So it's really important to make sure that you're protecting your body that way. So non-negotiable laptop stand. You can buy like a cheap one off of Amazon for 10-15 euros, and then just elevates it a little bit.
Does that mean you have an external keyboard and mouse too?
I do. Yes. Okay. I'm going to hold it up. So this is my external keyboard that I have.
Whoa, full number keypad too.
Yeah, because I don't like small ones. Again, ergonomically, I don't like being like this. So I like to be a little bit more widespread. And then my mouse is also ergonomic. So it's like a... Yeah, so you hold it. You got
to describe it for the people. Remember, this is a podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see it, but it's like this. What is this, Shandy?
Yeah. Okay. So it's not like a typical mouse where you're holding it on top. So your hands aren't on top. It's more kind of onto the side. So it's a natural position for your hand. So what happened a lot actually with... I hope he's okay with Pat specifically. He, like with using his mouse, he used to have like those tiny travel size mouses.
You mean the one I have? Yeah.
Yeah. But then he started to get a lot of pain in his forearm. And then I also started to feel that as well. And then like pain all up your arm and everything. And it was something where like, okay, what can we look into? So we'd sometimes get some massages, and then that was a cure, or let's say like it helped at the time. But then it was not the actual problem. The actual problem was the mouse. So then once we switched to more ergonomic, so the way that your hand naturally lays is more a little bit to the side, and then it makes it a little bit easier to click and everything like that. So that is a huge difference too. If anybody listening, if you're a nomad and you have any kind of problem with the forearm, or if you feel like something it's starting to feel, what is that? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, then it's a great investment. Again, 10-15 euros you can get from Amazon, and it's just those little things that really elevate your workspace, which then for me makes me feel a lot more productive, and I feel like I'm protecting my body, which I think is really, really important.
The way you
Yeah.
describe that mouse too is I was thinking mine is my hand, my palm is flat on the mouse, which really kicks my elbow. And the way you
Yeah.
just described that your hand is on this outward diagonal. Yeah, your elbow naturally just folds in. It would take me a long time to get used to that, but I can see the
Yeah.
appeal.
Yeah. Yeah. It is one thing that, yeah, you have to get used to all of those things too. And especially, the external keyboard and like lugging all of that stuff around. Sometimes it feels like a bit much. But then I think, in future Shandy's going to thank me for bringing all that stuff because I'm not going to be crippled, hurting everything just because you're working. I think it's important to protect your body and to be able to, as I always say back again, age gracefully and in a way that you want to age and, again, protect your body.
Perfect. Let's put a link in the description for this mouse. I think it's worth
Try to
people
find it.
looking at. We can
Yeah,
definitely.
definitely.
One thing I really like traveling is last trip I did not take my laptop stand and keyboard. This trip I think it is worth it. External
Yes.
mouse 100%. Something I also like to do is, especially if I'm doing content creation, I'll put for a quick fix, put my phone up on a shelf or like a
Ooh.
kitchen cupboard, and then you're just standing and like clicking. And I just feel one thing I also do, I'm very right hand dominant. So sometimes I'm trying to like type with my left hand just to give my right a break and to like work that other
Oh,
side of the brain. Or if you always hold your phone with your left, hold your phone with your right and use your left finger. You're so slow. It's crazy.
I love that. I think that's so funny that you bring that up though, because when I used to have an older phone, like iPhone, I don't know, 7 or something. But then no, it was a little bit. Anyways, doesn't matter. iPhone SE, I think it was. But then I upgraded to the 14, and the first couple of days I couldn't I couldn't figure out why my hands were hurting, especially my
It's
pinkies.
big.
And then I found out that the phone is so much heavier. So then your hands
Yep.
have to get used to that. And I had no idea. I was like, this is ridiculous that's hurting my hands.
Yeah, I wish.
But that's a great solution.
I had next to me, I have this tiny phone stand too. I can't show it on YouTube, but it's like a tiny phone stand. It's great for the airplane to hook in as well. I'm debating
Oh,
bringing it or not because it's just another piece of equipment. But I also like to use that and again, I'm like looking in my space right now. But if you have a pen that has the touch point, the ball point, I try and use that for content creation too, where it mimics holding a pencil or a pen versus your fingers just like, I don't know, just
yeah.
again, that ergonomic kind of for longer usage.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm editing on my phone for quite a long time. So yeah,
I love
I
that.
think
I think that's a
all
great
this
idea.
equipment, it's worth packing traveling as a nomad.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. No.
Okay,
And
so
then,
when we are in a space,
yes,
do you like co-working spaces?
I love co-working
Oh,
spaces.
you have one more thing? Okay, okay, you're excited
No,
about this.
I wanted to ask you about it, but I love co-working spaces. I am a full-fledged co-worker gal. I love it.
Co-working. She is your friend at the co-working. What if you're only
Yes.
there for a day or two? Working for a day or two in your location?
To be honest, a lot of co-working spaces that we worked from had a free day that you could work from. So
Okay.
go in there, ask if you can work for free, test it out. And like, of course, if you want to be honest about it, just say like, I'm here for a day or two. Lots of times you can also pay for a day pass. But again, going back to living in the van, we were first working from the van and it was like way too small. There's not enough space on that tiny table. And it wasn't a circular table, but it wasn't very ergonomic. So
Squeeze.
so then we went to co-working spaces. But I thought it was a great, like, lots of co-working spaces had a lot of really cool different things. Like some co-working spaces we went to had external computer
Monitors,
screens.
yeah.
Monitors, which was fantastic. I love that. A lot of places had like free coffee, sometimes had like free snacks that you could go to, but also like really great people that you could just work around. And then it's also for me that accountability of other people are working. So I also have to work or I have to get into because lots of times it takes me quite a while to get into the work mode. So I get quite distracted very quickly. And then it takes me probably an hour to get into work mode. And then my phone goes off and I'm like, oh crap, now I have another hour to get into it. But at co-working spaces, it was a lot easier for me. The only downside I have to say about the co-working spaces was that the places that we went to, lots of times you either had to pay extra for the meeting rooms or you had to book them way in advance. And for me, being an online trainer, I needed the space to be able to like show people how to do squats or do push-ups or whatever. And those spaces were either too small or you had to pay extra for it, or you had to book it in advance and it wasn't available. So it just wasn't, for me, I couldn't count on that. So then I always had to go back to the van, and that was a little bit annoying. But for quote unquote regular people that are working from the computer, I think they're fantastic. I really love them.
Okay.
What do you think about them?
I'm, yes, echoing every positive, every pro you described, same reasons. They are great for socializing. I love the chance to use an external monitor. Ergonomic setups. Some have meeting rooms that are like little phone booths, which you don't have to book. There's a clear like boardroom style meeting rooms, and some are like, yeah, if no one's in there, go ahead. It's free for all. My thing is, it depends how long I'm staying in a place. If I'm staying longer than a week and the budget allows it, then 100% I'm using it as a place to just have somewhere to be. The walk to that spot may be more exciting. Maybe I pass a new cafe as well, or it's like, oh, on my way there, I'm going to check out this destination. So I use it as this kind of travel tourist prompt, but it's really budget dependent. I've used it when in Mostar, Bosnia and Herzegovina. Shout out Code Hub Mostar.
Yeah.
But Mia's not there anymore. We love you, Mia.
Oh, we love Mia.
And in Budapest, actually, there was a really cool one called Kaptar. I think I'm saying it right. And they had like a barbecue on a Friday night that was in this other area, and they helped me get there. And it was this outdoor co-working bar. So I think socializing, it can be hit or miss. Sometimes they're very professional, a lot of locals who just come and leave. The ones in Calgary, where I am right now, I find to be very professional, but we just don't have a lot of international people who are stopping by. So,
and also in Canada, I think you have gone to a couple of ones in Canada, but I feel like they're not really a thing, co-working spaces. But in Europe, they're huge.
They're huge in Europe for short term. I think Canada is still adapting to the idea of like a short-term user, daily pass, weekly pass, couple passes. So my co-living, we're using a co-working space because I think it's just important that we have an external space just to get out of the house. I think it's really important for mental health as well, just to have a change in environment, but also somewhere where you can have private meetings and workflow time. And the best part about them, Wi-Fi is reliable. So that's the biggest thing about working. Of course, for us recording this podcast, even internationally, one of the ways that I protect myself in terms of Wi-Fi, if it's not good, is I like the Holafly or Olafly. I don't know how to say it properly. Like HOLA Fly eSIM, because it's unlimited data for the price you pay.
Oh, yes. Amazing.
Okay. It is more expensive than...
Okay.
Well, it's reasonable. Like, I think it's reasonable for what you get. It is more than a eSIM package that's X amount of gigabytes. But for example, in Slovakia, the hostel's Wi-Fi was just like so unreliable. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to lose money figuring this out. Or I could buy this eSIM, get 4 hours of work done, earn that money back right away. So that's my solution. What's yours?
I love that. When we were in the van, we had a Netgear, it's called. It's kind of like a mobile router. So we would just buy SIM cards wherever we went to. And then you could just put the SIM card into this mobile router. And then it acted as kind of a hotspot. So we could just hotspot from our laptops, or like our hotspot laptops, phone, everything. And we usually just got as many gigabytes as we could on there, as much data. So we had, lots of times like 100 gigs, 200 gigs, as many as you could. And then once you blow through that, we just buy a new SIM card and do it again, because that was cheaper than, in the beginning, cheaper than co-working spaces. And then it was just a peace of mind that if you went somewhere, because that was during the time that I was teaching English online. And that was really important that I had those meetings at that specific time. So if the Wi-Fi wasn't working somewhere, then we had that to rely on. And that was really, really nice. And it was like, we still have it. We still use it when we are traveling anywhere. We take it with us, and you just pop in a SIM card and you're good to go.
Nice. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
What's one of the weirdest places you've ever worked from, Shandy?
So I love this. I was reading this question earlier today, and I was talking with Pat, and I was like, what is the weirdest place that we've worked from? And then he mentioned a hammock. He's like, I hate working from a hammock, though.
Your arms are like T-Rexified.
That's what he said too. And then I was trying to think of where's the weirdest places that I've worked from. And I was like, I don't know. Does a van constitute as weird? Does a closet constitute as weird? Because I've also worked from one of those before. What about in a car you're driving? Well, you're not driving and working, but somebody else is driving and you're working.
Work session.
Exactly. Yeah. But I don't know. I find that a hard question. But what is the weirdest place that you have worked from?
I've done buses, I've done trains, I've done airports, I've done outdoor bus stations. Once I
Ooh.
actually, maybe this is the weirdest. The Wi-Fi at my hostel I was in Rome wasn't working well, and I needed to upload a YouTube video, and I had co-worked at a cafe nearby. That was awesome. But in the evenings, it turned into a full restaurant, not a cafe. So I just had my laptop propped open, maybe like 2 inches, had it in my backpack, and I was just standing on the street corner waiting for my video to upload.
No way. I love that. I can picture it. It seems like a movie where you're just a hacker. You're like close to this place. You need to hack in a password or something. And you're standing there like, okay, it's uploaded. Gotta go.
That's what it felt like. Like I was just like, how can I not look? I'm just taking pictures of the name. And then it got darker and darker. I'm still just standing there. And
that is so
And of course
funny.
I'm solo traveling. So I can't even just pretend like, if it was if we were together, I'd be like, let's just pretend we're gossiping on the street. And like, that
is so funny.
Yeah, I forgot about that story. I've definitely worked from my bed a lot. I know it's not the best thing to do. I can work outdoors. I can work at cafes. I'm pretty actually, I can work almost anywhere. And just let me have a place to sit. Yeah, usually sitting.
I mean, obviously cafe is really great to work from. Trains, like you said, any place to sit is nice. But I love that you just stood in front of a cafe.
I have brought people there afterwards. I have suggested it to at least 2 friends. So I feel like in the karma spectra of things, I have repaid them for their internet, for that video to go uploaded.
For their upload speed.
To be uploaded. Yes. Yeah.
I love that.
All right. Let's kind of do a fire rapid round here about activities. So what do you do for activities when you're in a place? Let's talk adventure and tourist activities.
Yeah. So walking tours 100% of the time in like bigger cities when they're available.
Check mark.
Yeah. And then we really like to eat out. So just like eating different places, different cuisines. Of course, in certain countries, you want to try out the local cuisine. That's also a big thing. Because then you also get to test out. This is not quick rapid fire. I'm just talking a lot now, but I'm really bad at that.
I didn't give you rapid fire questions.
No, that's true. No, I don't know. And I feel like, I don't know, on that Meetup app we were talking about in episode 7, that's also a very good way to meet people. And then you get to know the culture a little bit more with the people around and everything. But what do you think? Rapid fire.
Meetup, get your guide is a great platform and has tons of reviews and flexibility, which is local tourist attraction providers. Anyway, they post there. So for example, in Poland, I saw Auschwitz. Is that the right name? That's the proper name, right? Thank you.
Yeah.
And was able to book with some hostel people, and we got transportation there, which is actually the biggest issue was getting there. And we did a self-guided tour, but he gave us a book, and so it was like cheaper than getting a full guided tour. So it's just nice flexibility and budget. Don't get FOMO. It's like that's fear of missing out for our boomers. But you're not going to be able to do everything. And ask around when you're at a cafe, at a restaurant. Say, hey, is there anything happening this weekend that I should know about? Sometimes the farmers market's happening. Sometimes it's a certain holiday. And it's good to know that stores will be closed as well. This happened a lot when I was in Germany and as well Turkey, that some stores aren't available. But speaking of stores, do you like to buy groceries or do you like to cook? Wait, that's kind of the same question. What do you do for food?
Well, when we're traveling, again, van reference, we bought all of our groceries and everything because we have a full kitchen in the van. So we did a lot of cooking. We both really like cooking as well. So that was something. And then we would just eat out every now and then kind of thing. But if we were traveling without the van, because we've done that a couple of times too, lots of times it's eating out, but then breakfast, it's like grabbing something at like a banana and some sort of protein, and then you're good to go, like maybe a carb source. And then you're walking around. Lunch, you grab maybe a sandwich to go, and then dinners are more of like the bigger eating for us. But what about you? Do you usually buy groceries?
Yeah. It just depends where I'm staying. I do seek out places that have some kind of cooking facilities for an easy. I love a good like tortellini. You cook some spinach in a microwave, put it on top situation. as a vegetarian, I'm always seeking unique protein sources. So I use dairy a lot as like a protein source and protein bars. But depends where I am. And I do sit, I think breakfast, and I'm bringing my own coffee around just to like cut the budget a little bit there, or help keep the budget good there. But plan ahead a
You don't
little
need
bit.
to bring your own coffee here.
Well, I'm going to bring it anyway for my beyond that. But thank you so much. I'm so glad that you guys drink coffee. Yeah, but I think it's really easy to plan a little bit ahead. So again, if you're going to do a walking tour, maybe at 10 a.m., plan to eat lunch out, but then not eat dinner out. So it's usually 1 to 2 meals I cook, and then 1 meal I seek out.
I love that. So how do you adapt to the local diet then? Because of course, different countries have different foods that they offer and are available. So do you get used to it, or do you adapt in some different way? How do you do that?
I like to try new things. Again, for this meal eating out, I would probably choose something that's local or that I've heard is good. I feel like in Europe, yes, there are the traditional restaurants, but then also sometimes you hear like, oh my gosh, this Chinese restaurant is so good in Slovakia, which doesn't, that sentence seems weird, but then you go, like, there's the best Korean vegan spot in Hamburg in Germany. So,
really? Okay.
Yeah. It's delicious. So I do adapt a little bit. I like to try it, but it just depends where I am and what I'm doing and how hungry I am.
Yes. Also, if you walk past a place and you smell and it smells good and you're hungry, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna try that today.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. And this is our last category. We're going to kind of travel about settling into a destination, and it's exercise, Shandy. So Coach Shandy, tell us, what should we be doing?
I mean, it depends on what you're traveling for too, right? And where you're going and different things. But the biggest thing that I really preach is just, which we talked about before, which you just brought up at the beginning of this podcast as well, is running, but also walking to different places. Use your feet. It's the cheapest. It's free transport. Yes, you have something to say?
Shoelace Express.
Shoelace Express.
Have you ever heard
Trademark.
that?
No, I've never heard it, but I love it.
How'd you get there? Oh, the Shoelace Express.
I love that. Okay, so use the Shoelace Express. And it's such a great way to see things too, right? I need to remember that. I love that. Where's my agenda? I gotta write it down.
You'll listen back and hear it.
Yeah, exactly. No, but I think that's the biggest thing, is just any type of movement that you can get in your day is better than nothing. So even if you're working 8 hours a day behind your laptop, stand up. If there's stairs in the apartment that you're staying in, go up and down the stairs a couple of times, or stand up and do 10 squats, or just move your body, because motion is lotion.
Ooh,
that's a trademark one. Yes.
I think,
but yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I encourage people, stick to whatever routine is normal for you. So weight training, running, but just dive into whatever you have available. So if the hostel you're staying in offers Wednesday yoga, do it. It's already included in your stay. It's not going to harm you. If there's beach volleyball that is open level, they're open to beginners, join it. That's been a great way for me to meet friends and do things. I was joking. I was an international volleyball player, which isn't a lie, but I just wasn't professional. When I was in Canada, I said I played in Turkey. So I think join the hikes, I'm not a good swimmer. If you can swim, jump in swimming, just anything that just gets you going. And especially if it's with other people, that's going to be really beautiful, especially as a solo traveler, or just with your partner, doing things together or separately in your interest zones.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's such a great way, like you said, to meet people, but it's such a great way to just get some free endorphins too. Feeling better throughout the day. You're behind the computer for, again, 8 hours a day. You need a little bit of break, and what better way to move your body, right? Like, it's and every little thing counts. And that's such a big thing where people think, if I can't get an hour of exercise, we talked about this before, then it doesn't count. But even if you take 5 steps between here and the toilet, you're still getting movement. That's good. Keep doing it. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I have one request for exercise in the Netherlands.
Yes.
Can we go play padel?
Yes.
What is it called?
Padel.
I've never played padel. Okay. I'd like to play.
Well, we're quite fanatic about it, so please.
I'm going to find just a random to play with me who's also a beginner. So
amazing. But we can play with 3 though too. We can make it. We can make that work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go play padel.
And it's so much fun. It's so much fun. So you're going to love it. That's going to be your new travel exercise.
Might be. Don't really know how to get into this, but this is the thing is it's huge in the Netherlands. So dive into what's big in the culture you're in.
Yeah. All over Europe, actually. Like it's, especially in the Netherlands, it is crazy big right now. Everywhere you go, there's padel courts and people are playing padel, and it's the new tennis. It's crazy.
Very
super fun,
interesting. Okay, well, I hope this episode has helped you, listener, or share this episode with a friend. Send it to a friend who's traveling soon or beginning the remote working journey. We hope that some of these tips and conversation points have been useful to just make you feel really settled in your next destination where you get to pursue your professional career as you explore the globe. If you're still listening, thank you so much. I am Anna, your travel friend Anna, joined always by Coach Shandy. Please like this episode, give us a rating on Spotify, or subscribe to us on YouTube. We're Where She Builds at Where She Builds Podcast, and we will catch you in the next one.
Thanks for listening.
Ciao for now.